Time to get back to the exciting news we told you about at the top of the show. MLS is coming to Charlotte.
Now it's my pleasure to welcome Charlotte to Major League Soccer.
The MLS commissioner right there welcoming the 30th franchise to the Queen City. The team expected to take the field in 2021.
Yeah, Ben Thompson was out there at the Mint Museum where the announcement was made earlier today. So, Ben, no doubt an exciting time for the city, isn't it?
It really is hard to get much more exciting than this. And this was called perhaps the worst kept secret in Charlotte at this point. But now, in the weeks and months to come, you're going to see a lot of this scarf all around town going into the next several months as well. You know what? This happened quickly, according to the commissioner here. And here's what we know as of this hour, as of this news announcement this morning. Charlotte will indeed become the 30th city in the U.S. to have an MLS soccer team. The team expected to take the field in 2021 that season. So, folks, this is going to happen fast. Mayor Lyle says the money has been set aside for the team, but she makes a really important distinction here, folks. She says this money has been set aside. It has not been spent. Now starts the part of actually getting public input, hearing from me and you, the taxpayers of Charlotte. The city, according to the commissioner, awarded this because of two things: its ambition and its community. So at this point, we know the league knows the games are going to be held at Bank of America Stadium, despite the need for some renovations. Charlotte already securing a major corporate sponsor in Ally Financial. Also corporate suite pledges as well. 60 corporate suite owners we know at Bank of America Stadium have pledged $100,000 this year. All right, we have got team coverage inside and outside the Mint Museum where this announcement was made. Also got a Charlotte City Council member standing by we're going to talk to in just a minute. But first, let's begin with Sports Director Nick Carboni. And Nick, the one person, the one name looming large over this entire announcement today was one David Tepper.
Yeah, Ben, Commissioner Don Garber telling us just a few minutes ago this would not have happened without Panthers owner David Tepper taking charge as soon as he got to the city. You talk about this moving fast, Ben. It wasn't even 2 years ago, July 10th, 2018, when Tepper took over as Panthers owner, stood in front of our cameras, and first uttered the letters MLS. Now here we are, December 17th, 2019, and he's got himself that team too. Tepper was absolutely giddy on stage here at the Mint Museum today as Commissioner Garber adorned him with his MLS Charlotte 2021 scarf. He's saying Elvis as he has done before. He trashed Atlanta as he has done before, as now a rival in Major League Soccer in addition to the NFL. And I asked Tepper about saying those letters, MLS, not 2 years ago, and the vision he had. And he says it's a vision for sports in this city, for the city as a whole, for the uptown region, for a stadium, and perhaps a new stadium too. This is something that has clearly been on his mind since even before he got to the Queen City.
The demographics, where the stadium is sort of a natural. You're going to have the train station there that's going to tie it all together. So you have a sort of community builder. And I just thought that it was a kind of, a great white screen for me, a palette to paint in. And, part of the things, if you remember that first meeting, it was talking about the community and things I can do for the community. So and I thought there was different things we could tie together here.
Yeah, so Tepper just painting more of his canvas as he rolls along here, not even 2 years in. I spoke to Tepper and Garber, and they both indicated there are going to be talks ramping up about a new stadium for the football and soccer teams, and that's probably going to start pretty soon, and we'll see if that involves the public at all. I also asked Garber about David Tepper voluntarily saying MLS when he took over about 2 years ago, and Garber kind of joked that maybe that hurt Tepper in the negotiation process with the league. Of course, Tepper expected to pay a record $325 million for this Major League Soccer team. Ben?
Perhaps Tepper showing his cards a little too early in those negotiations. All right, Carboni, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Of course, a lot needs to happen in the next year for all of this to come to fruition. Specifically, we're talking about the practice facility, the headquarters, all slated, as we know right now, for the old Eastland Mall site in East Charlotte that's really sat empty for the better part of the last decade. Modifications need to be made at Bank of America Stadium as well. In all, we're talking about $110 million in money from our city's hospitality tax. So with that said, let's turn it over to NBC Charlotte's Hunter Sines. He's live right now with the latest on this. And despite the cheerleading happening, Hunter, for sure, people are excited about this. But this does come with a cost, and that is making it highly controversial for some folks.
That's right, Ben. Mayor Lyles and all of council are rather excited about this announcement, but they have been quiet when it comes to the city's financial contributions in order to help bring this team here. We know about that $110 million that Mayor Lyles promised in order to help bring that team here. And today we learned a little bit more about how that will happen. The mayor saying this morning there will be two financial plans, one for the Eastland site development where the team's headquarters will go, and the second financial plan will be the development of an inner city entertainment center. Tepper said he hopes it will be like Broadway in Nashville, connecting the Gateway Center to Bank of America Stadium. Remember, council has only discussed this in closed-door meetings, but the mayor promises the public will be involved from here on out. She says the new team will connect the east to the west and is optimistic it will all work out.
We know that we're ushering new opportunities on our east side and on our west side. I'm looking forward to working through all of the challenges that will still come before us. And I know that there'll be challenges, but as long as we stay with our vision and our partnership and our support, we will make this work.
The money, the taxpayer.
Those challenges definitely could come when this goes to a public forum. The $110 million the city would put forward would be historic when compared to what other cities put toward their MLS teams. For example, Cincinnati passed nearly $34 million for their team, and St. Louis actually voted down $60 million towards their stadium and team. I asked Councilman Braxton Winston if this is too much money that the city is promising to bring this team here. He says that every city has different scenarios, and that this money wouldn't necessarily be going to the new MLS team, but instead those communities that it will have the greatest impact on. Ben, back to you.
And thank you to Hunter Science for providing me the perfect segue. I am now joined by the aforementioned Braxton Winston, a member of Charlotte City Council. An exciting day for Charlotte, but what can you tell the taxpayers at home who and in a lot of occasions seem a little miffed that there was not more public input first?
Well, this is where the public portion does begin. We were in an economic development situation, a deal that took the same approach that we take to all of them. One of our primary responsibilities is to be good stewards of taxpayers' dollars. And when we are in a competitive situation against other cities to get that economic development, we have to do certain things in confidence. But there is a forward-facing piece of this. This is where it starts. As you said earlier, none of those taxpayer dollars have been spent. This is now where we start to put the plan together to figure out how this money does get spent. One thing to note is what this announcement does, it allows us to push forward priorities that we already have for the city. When we talk about development at Eastland Mall, when we talk about this idea of an entertainment district, these were ideas that were already on the table before MLS even came. So when this Mr. Tepper and MLS came to saying that this could happen, it was an opportunity to push those forward and put some real energy behind those. And it's an amazing opportunity, not just for Mr. Tepper and MLS, but for the entire city of Charlotte.
Any chance that you think public input could change the current direction of this?
I think there's a lot of conversations that we have to have. Nobody has decided on anything. No votes have been taken. In those rooms, a lot of us put down, what we want to see to be able to get behind us. One of those things that I needed to see was this investment around Eastland Mall. Was about having a long-term conversation about what investments in sports is going to look like here in Charlotte and that entertainment district. So everybody else has their own priorities. I speak for myself right now and not the entire city council, and it's going to be an exciting time as we push this planning process forward over the next year.
Councilmember, thanks, sir.
Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. All right,
Go Charlotte.
That's right. You heard it here first. Charlotte getting the 30th MLS team that being announced this morning. They're hoping for a 2021 season, which means this thing's going to have to happen pretty fast. But as you heard the council member mention, it's not too late for public input. That money has not been spent yet, so expect that to be an ongoing conversation in the months to come. Back to you guys in the studio.
Ben, thank you. And a lot of people are talking about all of this on social media. Make sure you've got our WCNC app for the very latest updates when it comes to soccer right here in the Queen City. When we're not on the air, you can get those updates on our WCNC app, all of our social media pages. We will keep you posted. Stay with us. We're back after this.